Welcome to Political Personalities with Skye. We are with Westchester County Executive George Latimer. He is one of our honorees for City and State's 50 over 50 Lifetime Achievement Award. So, welcome to the show, George.
Skye, it's nice to be with you. I appreciate this.
Yeah, and you have a fantastic background, the best of any background I've seen, very official.
Well, you've outed the fact that I'm over 50, so we'll start with that. But I've had the opportunity to do a number of different things in the public domain, some different things, and you draw from each one of them.
Yeah, so tell us about your background, like how you got into politics and government.
Well, I'll start out with some of the basics. I am not only over 50, I'm 68 years old. I was born in the city of Mount Vernon, which is one of the communities along the southern tier of Westchester County that's very urbanized. And I grew up as a young boy in a working class area, mostly African American. And my mom and dad were blue collar folks. I went to public schools in Mount Vernon, graduated Mount Vernon High School, did undergraduate work at Fordham University, and then I have a master's degree from New York University, now known as the Wagner School. And in those early years in our 20s, where we do a lot of different things, I did a couple of different things before I wound up going into the private sector in a sales marketing capacity. And for 20 years, which overlapped the beginning of my public career, I was a sales and marketing executive in the hospitality industry. I worked for some major subsidiaries of Nestle and ITT. And of course, that industry has undergone major change because of COVID. But it was an interesting opportunity for me to learn things that you don't normally associate with going into a public career. My public career began when I ran for the local city council where I live in the city of Rye. It's 15,000 people right across the Long Island Sound from Glen Cove. And during that period of time, being on the city council did not change my work career. I continued my corporate career. And then I went to the Westchester County Board of Legislators, and I served there for 13 years. I became the first Democratic chairman of that board almost 20 years ago, over 20 years ago. And at that point in time, during my chairmanship years, I made the transition away from what I was doing on a corporate basis, did a little bit of consulting in that field, but government became my primary career path. I went to the state legislature. I've served in both the Assembly and the state Senate. And for those who haven't been in the system, each of those two chambers are very different. And they have different ways of operating in order to be effective and successful. And then in 2017, 5 years ago from when we're speaking, I ran for the Westchester County executive position. Westchester is one of the larger counties in the state. We're a little smaller than Nassau and Suffolk, a little larger than Erie County, but we have over 1 million people just north of New York City. And in running for county executive, I faced off against a two-term incumbent. I was successful in that race, was just reelected last year. And it's a legitimate executive job. The things that you learn in a legislative capacity help frame public policy and issues. But the things you learn as an executive, I probably draw more from my corporate background in terms of managing a workforce as large as Westchester County has. Great, interesting area of work, and it keeps me busy every day.
Right. Now, do you think you have a particular personality trait that's enabled you to become who you are and be successful at it?
Well, I'd probably say my upbringing, as a working class kid in the neighborhood that I grew up in, exposed me to dealing with a diversity of people. I dealt with folks who are African American and Latino growing up, and the comfort level that you deal with when you're dealing in a diverse community and a diverse society. That certainly helped me in my professional career, because when I was involved in sales and marketing, I had to communicate with any number of different people of different demographic and geographic backgrounds, different personalities, and so forth. And I think that has helped me now in terms of government, because so many issues you have to try to either draw from your personal experience, or you have to have people around you who can draw from their personal experience so that you can address some of these issues in a reasonable way. And so I'd like to think that that's where my personal flexibility comes from, that I grew up in a diverse environment, and I've embraced that all of these years through my public career.
Yeah. And now, when you're not working in public office and being the Westchester County executive, what do you do for fun?
Well, I'm a big sports fan. Now, where I'm at in my age now, I'm not playing as much of it as I'd like to. I don't, I've reached a certain age. But when I was younger, I played baseball. I was an avid baseball player, and I follow the major team sports: baseball, football, hockey, basketball. I'm a New York fan. For those of us, in this area of the metropolitan region, we tend to be Ranger fans rather than Islander fans. We tend to be Knicks fans rather than Nets fans. but I follow the four major teams. And even if I'm doing other work around the house, if you will, or I'm driving from one event to the other, I'll have those games on the radio. I'm a New York Jets fan, which has been a long suffering period of time. I'm a New York Met fan, and my father was from Brooklyn, so he brought National League genetic material into me. So even though I live in an area that's heavily Yankee country, I'm a Met fan and a National League fan. But I find sports is a great diversion. You can get wrapped up in the game and the drama of the game, and I know a little bit about how the sports are played, a little bit about the strategy of it, and it just takes your mind off of the everyday, frustrations and things of the world. And of course, as a fan, I'm fanatic. I want my teams to win. I root for them, and when I can go to those games, I do. And it really is a great, a great change of pace from what you do every day.
Yeah. Now, final question, County Executive George Latimer, is there anything fun or interesting, like a fun fact that maybe people don't know about you that you'd like to share?
Well, fortunately or unfortunately, I've developed a bit of a reputation as being able to sing. So when I go to local senior citizen centers, and since I am partially of Irish extent, and the old Irish politician who would get up and sing at the local ward event in Boston or Chicago, wherever they were, I can add my voice to the moment. It's not that I'm particularly good at it, but I'm enthusiastic about it. The line I've often used is, if I have a couple of drinks, I might sing. If you have a couple of drinks, I might sound good to you. But it does show sort of a human side that in a very serious business, we can also show that we can have fun. We can be normal people, even as we try to do things that are important public policy.
Yes. No, please sing a little bit for us. One line.
I knew I shouldn't have said this. I have often walked down this street before, but the pavement always stayed beneath my feet before. All at once am I several stories high, knowing I'm on the street where you live. Opening act at the Holiday Inn at the airport.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you, Skye.
Thank you so much, Westchester County Executive George Latimer. It's great to get to know you, and thanks for being part of Political Personalities with Skye.